Manhattan has come to a virtual standstill. Joining me now is Wall Street Journal reporter Jonathan Cheng. Jonathan, you're at home now, but tell us a little bit about what it looks like on the streets of Manhattan right now.
Sure. Last night at 7 p.m., they shut down the subway system here in New York, which, like in Hong Kong, is how most people get around. Most people haven't stepped outside today, but I was able to catch a ride into the office today and did some reporting and wrote a story about the stock market, which has been closed for all of Monday and will be closed again on Tuesday. And now I'm back home. It's about midnight here now in New York.
Okay, so are the streets pretty much deserted, and are there are a lot of taxis around? I mean, if you do need to get around, is there a way to do so?
Right. Well, earlier in the day, I was surprised to see how many tourists were around Times Square. Our offices in New York are near Times Square, and you could still see a lot of pizza shops, a couple of coffee shops were still open, and a lot of tourists were walking around taking photos in Times Square. On the way back, this was about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. The streets were a lot quieter. The storm finally hit land at 7 o'clock here in the U.S., 7 p.m. I was still able to get a dinner at a diner that was around the corner from where I live, and it was pretty full in there because it's just about the only place that's open still. Supermarkets are all closed, and taxis, you see them, and I've had a couple taxis stop while I was walking and asked me if I wanted a ride, but I was doing everything on foot there. So there are a lot of hardworking taxi drivers out there, and they're not going to go by the meter. You're going to have to pay them a negotiated rate, but that's just about the only way to get around if you don't have a car.
Okay, and you mentioned the stock exchange earlier, and we've been seeing pictures of downtown Manhattan underwater. Reports earlier that the stock exchange was flooding, but those turned out not to be true?
Right, the stock exchange has flatly denied that. Now, of course, things can change, water levels can rise, but as far as I know at this moment, I think the stock exchange is okay for now. They have sandbags all around it, so that should hold things back a little bit.
Okay, and Jonathan, you cover the market. So what's the likely impact of having we're looking at now probably 2 trading days where the U.S. market will be closed. So what is the likely knock-on impact that will have?
Well, obviously, if you're running an airline or if you're holding one of their stocks or insurance companies, I think a lot of people are expecting those stocks to come down when trading begins again. We're not sure when that is, but it's looking like Wednesday, but it depends, of course, on how the situation develops. On the other hand, you have home improvement stores like Home Depot and like Lowe's, big box retailers here that sell, wood planks and windows and all those sorts of things. They'll probably benefit from a lot of buying after the stores open again. But if you take a look at the larger picture here, we have the big election, of course, happens next Tuesday, the presidential election, and you have on Friday, you have an unemployment report, which is going to be very important, both for the election as well as for investors. And you put on top of that 2 days where the market's been closed, plus the weekend. So it's 4 days here where people in the U.S. haven't really been able to trade stocks. And I think the concern is that if there's going to be heavy selling, or who knows, maybe the market will go up on Wednesday. But no matter what the situation is, there's expected to be a lot of trading on Wednesday and potentially a lot of volatility and not a lot of time for investors to settle down between when the market's open again and the election on Tuesday.
Okay, it will certainly be interesting to see what if this does have any impact on the upcoming election. Thanks very much, Jonathan Cheng. Be safe and stay dry, joining us from Manhattan. For that story and more, you could go to WSJ.com. We're also continuously updating World Stream on the Wall Street Journal. Join us for continuous coverage.